9440. 4405. 944405. 1905.
All right, welcome back, crime fighters, for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up some of the bad guys. I'm Chris Wright. And of course, right now, the best thing that you can do to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place is to avoid getting sick and avoid getting anybody else sick. And we're not going to talk too much about the coronavirus situation because it's a rapidly changing situation, and this is not a live program. And we would not want to give out any information that by the time you see it is not accurate information. But what we do know is going to be accurate anytime that you're watching the show is we want everybody to practice good hygiene, wash your hands, don't be touching your face when you don't have to, and don't be gathering in large groups if you can avoid it. They're saying nationwide, some are saying to avoid groups of 10 or more. And in Alabama, the last we heard, it was groups of 50 or more was the guidance from the state. But again, that could be changing as things go on. Things are changing very rapidly. So we do ask that you just keep yourself informed, and please do so from reliable sources like the CDC and from the governor's office in Montgomery and places like that, instead of just relying on everything that you see on Facebook and social media and such, because there is a lot of false information that is floating around. People are talking about things that might keep you safe from the virus that actually will not work. If you see it on Facebook, that doesn't mean it's true. If somebody tells it to you or texts it to you, that does not mean it's true. Please be looking for information from the reliable sources, such as the CDC and the governor's office and our local Calhoun County EMA. And we'll be putting information out through the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office Facebook page and other ways as well for you here for good local information. All right, we want to say thank you for helping us find, I believe, 3 more arrests, was it, this week? Yeah, so we've got the total up to 4,544 now, people that we've been able to locate and bring to justice with your help, making Calhoun County better and safer and helping to preserve some of our tax dollars, which, as you know, is very important, especially now. It's more important than ever. So thank you for the help that you have given us in keeping some man hours for our deputies free to be able to handle all the many things that are on their plate right now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Hi, I'm Nancy Hilton with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Have you ever gotten a pop-up message on your computer telling you it's infected with a virus, or you need to install an update? It may appear as an urgent warning with a link to click on or even a phone number to call. It may tell you that you are at risk of losing your personal information. If you respond, you may find yourself speaking with a scammer, or even worse, if you click the link, it may lead to a virus download. These scammers want to sell you a useless service, steal your credit card number, or even gain access to your computer to install malware, which could allow them to gain access to everything on your computer. Stop and think before you go further with that pop-up ad. Don't call the number. Don't click on the link. Don't send money or give out your credit card number, and never ever give remote control of your computer over to anyone who contacts you. Be safe and always know who you're dealing with.
Scammers pose as big-name companies. They call or send pop-up messages to scare you about the security of your computer.
We've gotten warnings of viruses in your area. Your computer has been affected. First, download this software so I can delete the dangerous programs.
They're good at pretending to be someone they're not because they want something that isn't theirs, your money. No matter what they say, they haven't found anything wrong with your machine. They just want you to pay for software or tech support services you don't need. If someone pressures you, slow down and think it through. Don't give out your financial information, and don't let anyone take control of your computer. Report imposter scams to ftc.gov/imposters.
All right, let's get started with this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Starting off with David Cooper of Jacksonville, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for permitting dogs to run at large. Nathaniel Kane of Anniston, wanted on bond revocation for possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Joseph Rainey of Oxford, wanted on a failure to appear warrant for theft of property, first degree. Jennifer Hughes of Oxford wanted on bond revocation for possession of a controlled substance and public intoxication. Alexander Morgan of Anniston wanted for bond violation or probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And Ricky Lawrence of Weaver wanted on a probation revocation for fraudulent use of a credit card. We'll have some more individuals for you here in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We will have the second half of this week's lineup for you in just a few minutes, but right now we want to talk to Patty and Tim from the ARC of Calhoun and Cleburne counties. And welcome you back to the show. It's going to be a little bit different from what we had planned on it being with you coming in today. We do want to talk about an event you've got coming up because the event is still going on as of right now, isn't it, Tim?
Yes, it is. It's still going on as of now.
So tell us about this bike ride.
The Unfiltered Riding Club is doing a fundraiser to benefit us at the ARC, and it's a over 100-mile ride. Their bike club rides through Calhoun, Cleburne, and Randolph County as well. And they're still putting it on because it is their riding club. Things have changed with that. They were having a silent auction and a 50-50 raffle, but at this time, because of the size gatherings that's been passed down through the CDC and the government, it probably will be, that part of it will be canceled, but the ride itself is still going on.
You can practice social distancing while you're on your motorcycle.
Party on your motorcycle, that is correct.
Exactly.
So that ride will go on. They'll have some good, clean, fresh air, and everything will be good with that, hopefully.
And it's $20 a bike and $5 a passenger.
And when is this happening?
The 28th, the last Saturday. So maybe, if we're hopeful, things might be a little bit improved for them to have it too. But yes, they're practicing social distancing and raising money for the ARC at the same time.
All right, so we're hopeful that things might improve. The reality is that we are planning for things to go in the opposite direction, and that's really going to affect the work that you do.
Oh, exactly. And for this and for everything that we're going to talk about here, they can keep in contact with the ARC. We have a Facebook presence. We have a Twitter account. We also have our website. So we would very much encourage people to look us up on one of those social medias or give us a call to find out if everything's still on go. But yes, already we've had events throughout the month because this is Intellectual Awareness Month, Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month. And we've had to go from having events outward with our clients through the community to having more of a social media presence at the moment.
All right, so Tim, with the COVID-19, it's not a disease that affects intellectual abilities, so we think directly intellectual disability, that's not a direct connection, but this is something that is going to dramatically impact a lot of the people that rely on the ARC.
Yes, it is. A lot of our clientele live independently. And yes, they may have access to social media or TV, but sometimes they don't watch the news. Sometimes they just don't understand what's going on.
And may not have the ability to filter through what they see as well, because there's a lot of bad information out there, and information that even if it's not wrong, it can be misunderstood very easily.
Very easily. And our job at the ARC is to make sure that they understand what's going on, that they're being prepared, they're practicing the proper hygiene. We're checking on them frequently by phone to make sure that they're not showing any of the 3 symptoms, and then making sure they have their needs met through medications and groceries and food, because a lot of them depend on public transportation. And as things go on, that might be shutting down.
And let's just face it, your clients did not go out and buy 50 packages of toilet paper.
No, they did not.
No,
they did not.
When they get the opportunity to go through public transportation to the grocery store to buy the things that they need, some of those things are not there.
That's correct.
Exactly. Our folks have another disability in the fact, or another handicap in this regard, because if they do use public transportation, the amount of items they can carry on a public transportation are limited. You are limited to 2 bags at one time if you take the bus, the trolley, for everyone's sake, so somebody doesn't come in there. So they've been trying to get a little at a time, or we've been encouraging that. But again, there are certain criteria, even for some of the cards, even for people with not a disability in terms of WIC cards.
Yeah, there are certain items that qualify for WIC and certain that don't. And if people are buying out all the items that do qualify, then people that are relying on their WIC cards to get what they need, even if there's something on the shelf that suits that need, they can't get it.
Exactly. And they can't just go down the aisle and grab something else, even if it's the same type of product. So those are things to keep in mind.
How can we, as people that don't rely on WIC, what do we need to look for to make sure we're not taking those products off the shelf to where they can't get it?
There's usually, the card that has the price on it usually has the numbers in capitalization, WIC on it. Or if it's another type of classification, it's on there. If it has that right above the price, then that means it qualifies for WIC. And if it doesn't have it, it doesn't, and no one can buy it.
So if we can just simply look and see and say, okay, well, here's two options. This one qualifies for WIC, this one doesn't. I'm going to get this one
right,
just to make sure that this is still available.
Exactly.
Especially when there's just a few of it on the items of the shelf like that. Yeah.
All right, we need to take a quick break, but there's some other things we need to talk about on this. We will be back in just a few minutes. We'll have the second half of this week's lineup and more about how this part of our community is being affected by the coronavirus crisis when we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, here we go with the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Jason Maxwell of Weaver is wanted for non-payment of child support. Donald Mask of Gadsden is wanted for child support. Carrie Seward of Lincoln is wanted on a failure to appear warrant for possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. Tamara Gibson of Oxford is wanted on a probation violation for possession of a forged instrument, forgery second degree, identity theft, theft of property first degree, and also wanted for escape first degree. Narciso Avendano of Huntsville is wanted on a probation violation for possession of a forged instrument second degree. Justin Buchanan of Oxford wanted on a probation violation for receiving stolen property, first degree. And Honorio Flores of Anniston wanted on a failure to appear warrant for domestic violence, third degree assault, and violating a domestic violence protection order. If you have information about where we can locate any of these individuals, please call Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414. We'll have the Crime Stopper segment in just a few moments and also our Crazy Criminal of the Week. And right now, we're talking with Patty and Tim from the ARC of Calhoun and Cleburne counties and talking about your clients with intellectual disabilities, how this is all affecting them. Of course, event-wise, we've got the International Special Olympics that was supposed to be next month, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, our local events were next month. Special Olympics International actually embargoed all training and events, gatherings. They actually did it the second day of March, and because what they're looking at is worldwide.
Right.
But then, it's coming toward us, so they're supposed to reevaluate at the end of March for that event. But local school systems, as of this moment, have stopped all their, of course, school for the next couple of weeks, but they've also stopped all their field trips till the end of April. Mm-hmm. So all of that affects us. So what we will be able to do after that point, if we'll be able to get it in before school ends, or if we'll just have to take a pass for that event. Although we do Special Olympics year-round, and I think that's something that people aren't aware because they see the big event in April, but we have basketball, volleyball, all sorts of things. And our local team, just went to the basketball tournament before this was over with the state, and they did very well. They didn't bring home the championship this year, but they were in the top 3. So
you've got some other events that are still going to be happening, and some of them are things that people can just do at home, right?
Oh, exactly. We've sort of taken the Intellectual Disabilities Awareness Month, all of our events that we were going to do in the public, we've taken that now out and made it more of a social media event. Well, and then there's one that they can do in their home as well. But what we're doing right now is we're encouraging folks to get out the message of the accomplishments of people with intellectual disabilities. They can do a lot of things, work, even own businesses in some cases, but of course it depends on the individual. So we want to know the individual accomplishments, whether it's sports or music or whatever. So all they have to do is find us on Facebook. We're the ARC of Calhoun and Cleburne counties. Send us a picture or a short video and even a paragraph or two, and we'll share it, and it will be shared many times from that. So we want to show off accomplishments. So that's one way that people can participate from their homes. The other way is March 21st is still going to be World Down Syndrome Day, part of the month of celebrations and stuff. So all you have to do that day is get up and look at 2 different colored loud socks and put them on. One on each leg, one on each foot. Take a picture. We'd love to get that picture again on our Facebook and our social media, that we would share it. But we want you to show off the world and show your socks. The reason we do that, it's like wearing red for Women's Heart Day or blue for Autism Day. You wear a couple of mismatched loud socks because that's has a connection to the test for Down syndrome.
Okay.
When you show the chromosomes on the screen and you're determining that you have or have not, or your child has or has not Down syndrome, it's a chromosome, and if you have an extra chromosome, you have Down syndrome.
All right, so Tim, we've only got just a couple more minutes here, but you've got a big job ahead of you.
Yes, we do.
What challenges are you facing, and what can we do to try to help that?
Right now, the face is, a lot of the rumors are going around, the misled, the false news. A lot of our consumers will take anything that's said and react on it. So our main thing is to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. A lot of them, really, because of their intellectual disability, doesn't participate in proper hygiene. So we're there to make sure we're teaching them, reteaching them, making sure that's done, making sure they're getting their needs. And for the community, if you know of someone around you that is in need, contact us at the ARC and we'll do our best to help them.
And also, if you know of someone that we need to check on during this period, we're checking on all of our consumers that are in the community at least twice a week, making phone calls, and we want you to contact us and we'll put them on our list.
And what's the best way for people to contact you?
You can give us a call at 256-236-2857. Find us on Facebook, or our website is Calhoun Cleburne ARC, ARC.org.
All right, Patty, Tim, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Big job ahead of you.
Yes.
Good luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will be back in just a few moments. We'll have the Crime Stopper segment of the show and our crazy criminal of the week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. All right, let's see if you can help us solve some recent property crimes. Between February 1st and February 29th, a Ruger 9mm was taken from a home located on Canyon Trail in Alexandria. On March 12th, a burglary occurred at a home on Lincoln Street in Anniston. 2 windows were damaged. On February 24th, a home was illegally entered on Amber Nunnally Road in Ohatchee. A television and miscellaneous items were stolen, and 2 door frames were damaged. Surveillance shows 2 unknown white males at the residence. On March 13th, the home was reported as burglarized on Roy Webb Road in Jacksonville. Miscellaneous items including dishes, clothes, and a toolbox with tools were stolen. Looking back at an unsolved crime, on January of this year, an unknown person used a stolen credit card to make numerous cash advances throughout the state of Alabama. And in August of last year, a black male purchased 3 Apple iPhones and accessories from a local Verizon store. This unknown person committed identity theft by using another person's personal information to complete the transaction. If you have information about any of these crimes, please contact Calhoun County Crime Stoppers at 256-238-1414.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, our crazy criminal this week is a little bit different from what we normally do, but we're just going to say in general, because there's a bunch of people who have been doing this, everybody that has called 911 to report that they are out of toilet paper. Can you believe that? 911 operators are reporting a bunch of phone calls from people telling them, hey, I'm out of toilet paper and I can't get any. Okay, now we understand that's an issue. We feel bad for you. That is not an issue for 911, okay? So, and calling 911 for something that's not an emergency is a crime, so that does qualify for our crazy criminal, even though it's not an individual kind of thing. But we also had instances, of course, where people are hoarding not only toilet paper. You heard about the kids, or the two people, probably the brothers that bought up like 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer in Tennessee and Kentucky that they thought they were going to resell and make a big profit. And then they were not able to resell that. They ended up having to give that away, most of it. Some of it was confiscated as well. And they have been informed that them giving it away does not necessarily mean that they're not going to face charges for price gouging. So keep that in mind. Price gouging is against the law, and people are going to get prosecuted for it. Don't do it. All right, we'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Wash your hands.